Okay, this is video 8 of the A-level Buddhism Anthology work by A.L. Basham, section 8. Let's read it and then we'll analyze it. The Bodhisattva is lonely with no companion, and he puts on the armor of supreme wisdom. He acts himself and leaves nothing to others, working with the will steeled with courage and strength. He is strong, and in his own strength he resolves thus: whatever all beings should obtain, I will help them obtain. The virtue of generosity is not my helper. I am the helper of generosity. Not do the virtues of morality, patience, courage, meditation, and wisdom help me. It is I who help them. The perfections of the Bodhisattva do not support these 6: generosity, moral courage, patience, courage or energy, meditation, and wisdom are the paramitas or virtues of the Bodhisattva, which he has developed to perfection. Many sources add forth further perfections: skill in knowing the right means to take the lead individual beings to salvation, according to their several characters and circumstances, upaya, kusala, determination, strength, and knowledge. Much attention was concentrated on these. Me. It is I who support them. I alone stand in this round, this adamantine world, must subdue Mara with all his hosts and chariots, and develop supreme enlightenment with the wisdom of instantaneous insight. Okay, so here Basham is quoting, as we know, from the previous passage, first of all, a very old Mahayana sutra. But why is he using the sutra that might have been written by the founder of Yogacara, the Aka Asyama Mata Nerdisa Sutra, in all its sort of esotericness? Why is he using this? Well, he has chosen this one as it represents a stage, a development point in the history of the Bodhisattva doctrine. And he's now bringing to our attention, in his chronology, of key turning points in that history of religion approach, the Yogacara school, and its contribution to the evolution, as he calls it, of the Bodhisattva ideal. And as you said, this text is highly speculative, as is no surprise if you know anything about Yogacara, and very esoteric in its stories. And it's surprising how little Basham has to say, given just how incredible, let's put it that way, the stories are in here. Basham, the cool, objective, secular scholar, has nothing to say about the truth claims, no matter how outrageous they are in this text. Does, number 2, Basham think the claims or the revelations from little green men, why does he not think these are worthy of comment? It's really worth thinking about this. This text and its ideas of beings from outer space today, in our post-enlightenment, secular, Western-minded people, just would find this text incredulous. But Basham, as we say, in cool academic fashion, refrains from making any such trivial commentary, preferring the virtues, as it were, of objective aloofness in scholarship. So what are the key themes in this passage? Well, the first key theme is the responsibility of the Bodhisattva to cultivate their own bodhicitta, their own compassionate mind. So the Bodhisattva is, it says, let's just read a little bit of this and highlight some of this. The Bodhisattva is lonely with no compassion, and he puts on the armor. He puts on the armor of supreme wisdom. It's funny, this language, isn't it? He's lonely. He puts on the armor of supreme. Sounds a bit Theravada, doesn't it? He acts himself and leaves nothing to others, working with a steel-willed and a courage and strength. This is all the language of duty and responsibility. Remember the 8,000 verses in the Bodhisattva vow. This is another vow. This is another form of the vow that is coming through this Yogacara text. And it's this determination to develop supreme wisdom, the wisdom of the mind of compassion. That's the strength that he has. And as you read through the rest of this, the word I will, I am, I will, pops up. Look at it all the way through. I will, I am, it is I alone, it is I. It's almost funny when you start to see it. So this is, as we've said before, another turning point in the evolution in particular of the Bodhisattva vow, which has found its origin 100 BC in 8,000 verses, then just about the year zero in the 25,000 large Prajna Parimita Sutra, and then in the turning point of the Lotus Sutra, and now in this yoga of associated with Nagarjuna, and that Indian school, and now this Yogacara 3rd, 4th century school. So what we have mentioned here are the 6 paramitas, and then the 10 stages of Lotus. Now, again, this is a turning point because this is something that evolves. First of all, it's 6, then it becomes 10, and the Lotus Sutra has 6 paramitas with 10 bhumis, or abodes or places of development. What are the 6? Well, you should know these from our Mahayana lessons. Let's just highlight them if we can in different colors. I am the helper of dana, generosity, the virtues of morality. Well, that's sila. Let's see if I can give that a different color. So we have the perfection or virtue of generosity, dana, the virtue of morality, the virtue of patience, the virtue of courage. Now that's not, this isn't one of the courage, not one of the 6 Lotus Sutra perfections. The virtue of meditation. Well, of course, meditation is important for Buddhists. And then finally this, and wisdom help me. Now what's going on here? And wisdom to help me. This is a different list. Maybe this is an evolved and embellished list. It is I who help them. This is a reference to an enlarged vision of Mahayana practice from the Yogacara perspective. And here we have then, it seems, a quote from this Yogacara text, the earlier Lotus Sutra. We have the 6 perfections referred to here. The perfections of the Bodhisattva do not support these 6. Here we are again. Generosity, well, that's moral conduct, sila. Patience, skandhas, courage or energy, meditation, dhyana, and wisdom, prajna. Here's the 6. Again, are the paramitas, or virtues of the Bodhisattva. So these are the 6 things that are in the Lotus Sutra, have evolved slightly in this text in particular. What are the significance of these themes? Well, Bodhisattva reflects the influence of Yogacara from the 3rd to 4th century of these 2 brothers who developed this idealistic school of Buddhist doctrine. And it marks a point in the evolution of the Bodhisattva doctrine that Basham wants to draw our attention to make us critically aware of. The change from 6 to 10 perfections from the Lotus Sutra to later developments is an important evolution in its own right, and it's an attempt to tidy up the religious system from earlier, more primitive, perhaps the early, more primitive Lotus Sutra. Notice a couple of the other key themes before we leave this, especially this one, upaya, skill in means, an absolute, and we have it explained here, skill in knowing the right means, upaya kusala, so the state of mind, the kusala state of mind, or Yogacara way of putting it, that is skillful in, well, frankly, lying, as we've come across. And so to take, with the aim, albeit the aim, the good aim, to take beings, the soteriological aim, to salvation according to their several characters and circumstances. You have to pick particular means for particular people to develop their and using skill of upaya kusala. What else do you have to use? This sense of determination. Here are the final 4 of the 10 perfections. So upaya kusala is the 7th, the 8th determination. Pradhyana, strength. Notice this is a new kind of strength from the one mentioned earlier. Bala. And now we have jhana, knowledge, jhana. And here are the final 4, 1 to 4, of the supernatural, as it were, stages of the Bodhisattva. Many Mahayana Buddhists think that only the enlightened Bodhisattvas can reach these stages. And so after this list of 10 bhumis, advanced with 4 advanced stages, we get back to the I who stands alone in this adamantine world. Sounds very interesting. Adamantine. It's from the X-Men, is it? This adamantine word. What a great word. Adamantine world. You'll know from X-Men that adamantine is the most hardened sort of metal in the world. And it's a mythological metal, to my knowledge. I don't know that it actually exists, despite the fact that I quite like the X-Men and the guy who plays the wolf, as it were. In this, and that's different, isn't it? Adamantine world. It's not temporary. This constant world of change. We must subdue Mara. We must subdue Mara. That's the with all his chariots and hosts. That's the traditional story of the Buddha. But what that means is to help others to develop supreme enlightenment. What is extreme enlightenment? The wisdom of instantaneous insight. Here is the emergence of the sudden school of realization, away from the gradual approach. The difference between Yogacara and Madhyamaka is this instantaneous insight, this intuitive, immediate awareness of your Buddha nature. So that's section 8 of A.L. Basham. Perhaps the key word there is this term bodhicitta. Chittimatra is the mind-only way of the Yogacara school, the idealistic way of thinking that only the mind exists, everything else is a lesser reality. And it is the spontaneous wish. It's a transcendent desire, transcendent supernatural wish that you gain by religious experience to attain enlightenment. Why? Because it's motivated by this great compassion for all beings. And when you get that, it's a kind of localized nibbana, a localized enlightenment. What falls away is the attachment, the illusion of an inherently existing self.